TravisYates.org. Go there, TravisYates.org. It is Major Travis Yates. Let's talk about what's going on in Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. is a scary place. The murder rate, the rape rate, the carjacking rate, way higher than most big cities internationally. And the president said enough is enough. This should be the shining star, the beacon of light. Our U.S. Capitol should be great and safe for people to go to. And the left somehow, Travis, is complaining that it's illegal. He can't federalize the police force. He's declaring martial law. He's going after black and brown people. From a law enforcement experience level that you have and the knowledge that you have, watching that unfold, I know that you told me earlier that you think that President Trump is playing 4D chess here. What are your thoughts on what he's doing there, and what's the end game going to be?
Well, he's got the left so twisted. Whatever he says, they say the opposite. So here
Right.
he is. You'd have to be brain dead, Joe, to not know how dangerous Washington, D.C. is. That's sort of a joke. It's been going on for so long. And then, of course,
Right.
you hear him say, oh, but it's safer this year than it was last year. Well, they're still in the top 10 of the most violent cities in America. And by the way, if they were a state, they'd be the most violent state in the country.
Oh, wow.
They're down 800 officers. They've spent $40-50 million a year in overtime. They can't staff up their people. It's in dire straits. You just got to talk to cops on the street there to know that. So you have to have no brain cells to believe that. And so I think what Trump is doing, and I think it's much far wider than D.C. Now, people are right about one thing. The federal government cannot just walk into a local community and run the police department without the police department agreeing to that. I just told you this nasty thing they were doing consent decrees. But D.C.
Right.
is not a regular community. Obviously, it's a federalized community. He has every right to do it. But he's using this as an example. He's bringing an awareness to what's happening in our urban cities, particularly to African Americans. 51% of all murders in this country, the victims are African American. Okay, so the Democrats that are screaming about how dare he do this, do you not care about the lives of African Americans? Because I don't think it's right. If we want to talk about disproportion, I don't think it's right that if a black kid has a exponential higher risk of dying in a murder than a white kid. What is going on here? And these cities across the country have ignored this. They've ignored the crime. They've played with the data. They made people think it was safe when it wasn't. And let me tell you how bad D.C. and the rest of these cities are, as the left's trying to tell you it's all of a sudden safe. Don't listen to what the FBI stats say, Joe. The National Crime Victimization Survey says that 45% of all violence isn't even reported.
Wow.
So you can take these stats and you can inflate them at least 45%. And if your department is down on staffing, no one's responding, that non-report rate goes even higher. So we know whatever crime rate the FBI data tells us, it's obviously much higher than that, which is why when they talk to citizens on the street, they're scared to death. Well, that doesn't make sense. Crime is down 30% in D.C. No, it's not down. You've got to look at it relatively. So I think what Trump is doing is he's showing America, he's showing cities, get back to the mission, get back to law and order, support law enforcement, and everything will self-correct. Because that's really what it takes, Joe. You notice if you go back several years when crime started to sort of get, I had this odd thing where I started law enforcement in 93 and I entered in 2023. And you can't even recognize it from one end to the other. But
Right.
in the 90s, we lowered crime to record levels. Why? It was about the mission. And the mission is so simple, Joe. It's in our name. Law enforcement. And so we just enforced the law. Well, when law enforcement got away from that, post-Ferguson and all this crazy stuff going on, and we tried all these experiments and all these other fancy terms we came up with, that's when crime started ticking up. Nobody wants to talk about that. So what I think the president is doing is he's resetting the stage here. He's recalibrating everything and showing people, because trust me, they will significantly lower the violence in D.C. simply by police presence and law enforcement. You've already seen that already. And then he's going to point at the rest of the cities and say, if I can do it here, you can do it there. And if you don't do it, you can kiss your federal dollars goodbye, because the citizens of this country deserve safety. So I think what he's doing,
really
everyone's
smart.
focused on D.C. It's not about D.C. It's about bringing violent crime lower across the country and protecting the kids of this country.